Hello, you guys. Okay, so today this video is going to be quick. I'm going to be blasting at you the top 10 signs that scream you are in alignment. Like 10 blatant, glaring, obvious, undeniable signs that say you are in alignment. All right. So the reason I'm doing this video is because there's so many times that we're guessing if we're in alignment, if we're guessing if we're feeling good, and we're kind of in that place of I'm feeling good, but then I'm kind of like moving out of it, and like when I start overthinking if I'm in alignment, then I think myself out of it. So I want to give you these 10 signs to show you and help you see that you are in alignment. You can see for yourself, you're like, oh my gosh, as you're resonating with these signs, as I'm sharing them with you, I want you to put down in the comments which ones resonate with you, which signs are screaming at you, so that you can just anchor them in and acknowledge this for yourself. All right, you ready? Let's go. So before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and also the thumbs up if you enjoy this video. Okay, so number 1, you have way more fun doing the things that you love, right? So instead of following what other people want you to do, instead of fighting against what you want to do just because it's practical, just because you feel like you need to do it, you are just following your heart. You're doing the things you love, knowing that what you love is no longer a question. You just follow your heart. So you're doing things out of your heart. You're doing things because you genuinely enjoy them. And when you do that thing that you love, you have a lot more fun. You kind of just forget about the time. You forget about the restrictions. You forget about how hard it is. It just it just explodes out of you. Number 2, your old toxic relationships are falling away. Whether if it's a slow drift, whether if it's your old friendships or your old relationships that are not serving you are slowly drifting away, or if it's a really hard confrontation. Either way, your old toxic relationships are falling away. Whether if it's a slow drift, whether if it's your old friendships or your old relationships that are not serving you are slowly drifting away, or if it's a really hard confrontation. Either way, your old relationships are phasing out of your life. And this is going to be a little difficult I know this is going to be difficult for a lot of people, but this is also you leaving a vibration, a lower vibration of people who are draining your energy. You are leaving a reality behind that does not uplift you. And when you clear that old energy, you're putting those relationships away, you're saying goodbye, yes, you have heartache, you have to say goodbye to some people. You have to let some people go. You have to close some books. But then you realize that when you let go of those old toxic relationships that are not serving you, or that's just draining your energy, you realize that you open up your door, your energy, your availability to people who inspire you, who lift you up, to people who want to see you do good. So, number 3. Speaking of relationships, you also are able to find healing through relationships that are here for the long run. So you are able to look back into the relationships you've had in the past, or relationships that are really, really close to you, and the ones that are most important to you, you're able to rebuild old bridges. You're able to revisit some of the old wounds that you've had with those people without getting triggered the same way that you used to, right? And you become a lot more willing to open up to the healing that is available for you, so that you're less triggered, you're less hurt by the things that used to set you off. And One of the reasons why this happened is because when you are in alignment, you are available for healing. You are aligning to your highest path for your highest good, for the things that are best for you, that is going to come your way. And healing is a huge part of it. So if there's anyone that's in your life that you're really close to, that you really want healing around, and the people still remain really important for you and you want to keep them in your life, this is the opportunity to heal, right? So this is the opportunity to look at your old wounds and to revisit some of the stories with yourself or with them together. But the outcome of this healing is repairing of your inner wounds, and to know that it is safe to continue to have a relationship with this person. It is safe to build relationships not being affected by the old wounds in the past. The fourth thing that happens when you are in alignment is that you start to enjoy time with yourself and you enjoy time for introspection. And this doesn't mean that you become introverted. That doesn't mean that it's not a behavior thing, but it's more like there's more joy, there's more substance found in you being in your own company. So instead of looking at it as an activity, like, oh, I'm spending like three hours with myself, or I'm spending more time like reading a book, or I'm spending less time with friends, doesn't mean that I'm less extroverted. It's not like a behavior thing. It's really more like your inner environment is changing. And when your inner environment changes, the conversations that happen with yourself starts to take a different direction as well. So you're asking yourself different questions, or maybe you're asking yourself things that you didn't talk to yourself before, or you're going to places within yourself. You're going to handle emotions within yourself that you used to numb out and you used to drown out, and now you actually have the space to process them. And I think one of the most beautiful things that happen as a result of this is that when you enjoy your own company, it's like a whole world opens up, right? Because then you're fascinated not just by stimulation from the outside world. Like, yes, the outside world is interesting and there's like stimulation and there's like things that, you can react to, things that happen and events and people and what they say. But you realize how colorful and rich your inner being is. And that is the most beautiful thing. That is what happens when you fall into alignment. The fifth thing that happens when you are being in alignment is that you become very true to yourself in all the ways. But in this point, I'm specifically addressing being true to your own expression, right? Being true to how you present yourself, being true to how you want to dress, being true to what you want to do, the things that you engage in, the projects that you put energy in. So like any kind of self-expression that reveals who you are, you've really essentially tapped into the most authentic version of you. This is the key here. You are the most expressed you have ever been. And it's not about like having to be the most expressed out of anyone. It's just you are the most expressed you have ever been in history. And you can only become more and more and more self-expressed. And that doesn't mean like and when I'm talking about being self-expressed, I don't mean like talking more. I'm referring to you are reflecting the truest quality from within yourself, and that essence, that truest essence, gets to be expressed in whatever means or whatever way. So instead of trying to look like someone else and instead of trying to sound like someone else, you only aim to sound like yourself. And that's what happens when you are finding your own alignment. So the sixth thing that happens when you're getting into your alignment is you're less restricted by rules. The old rules that used to confine you, the old rules that you used to follow, does not restrict you anymore. It does not put you in a box anymore. As a matter of fact, you feel free and liberated in the way that you do things. And what's really interesting about that is when you really follow yourself, you become a lot more confined, restricted. You stop having to plan and control everything ahead of time. But it's really about knowing that you have the spontaneity, trusting that you can follow your heart wherever it takes you, trusting that you will go wherever you want to go. So you no longer have to live in a box of predictability. And instead, you get to open up to a world of spontaneity. It's like, well, I kind of feel like doing that. And I kind of feel like experimenting with that. And then your world suddenly becomes a lot more free-flowing and liberated and colorful and rich because you're no longer confined to the old rules, the old ways of doing things. You're no longer boxed in. You're free as a bird. Okay, so the seventh thing that happens when you're in alignment is that you start actually honoring your body. So what that means is you rebuild this connection with your body that is really healthy, that is really stable, that is really safe, that is really wholesome. And as a result of that, you're no longer overworking. Now, in the past, you probably have pushed yourself beyond the limit where you got sick, where your body got sore, where you got hurt, where you got stressed out. Maybe you got autoimmune disease, or like your body starts flaring up, or your allergies start flaring up. Those are all signs. Or maybe you've put yourself past a point of burnout. So those are all signs of you not being in alignment when you're no longer honoring yourself and your rest and your body. You just, at this point, you listen to your body and you don't push yourself over the limit, and you allow yourself to rest, and resting feels great. This is what alignment feels like for you, is you're finally reconnected to your body and you're listening to it. You're listening to the cues that it's giving you, and you're no longer denying the rest that you need. You're no longer denying the messages that your body have for you like you did in the past. So this leads me to my next point, which is, well, if you're not pushing yourself as much, does it mean that you're not being as productive? Well, what's incredible about being in alignment is that there's this infinite renewable resource of energy that is available for you when you are driven by your own passion, your own desires, and your own alignment. So what's interesting is that when you work out of alignment, when you do the work in your alignment, it no longer feels like pushing and shoving. And what's really interesting about this kind of work, this way of working, is you don't have to put in a lot of effort to derive a lot of results. Oftentimes it feels like I'm just putting in minimal effort. This is easy for me. For example, when I'm doing this video, it's yeah, I'm putting in a lot of work, but at the same time, it's this was really fun for me, and this is kind of easy, and I'm feeling fulfilled as I'm doing this. So there's not a lot of pushing and shoving. And actually, as a matter of fact, when you do the work out of alignment, it tends to expand you and gives you more energy. So you're not doing things out of guilt. You're not doing things because you've been shamed to do so. You feel bad if you don't do it, or you're a bad person if you don't do it, right? You're no longer pushing and shoving yourself to doing things that you don't want. But you do things because like you've just got so much juice going on. Like, oh, I can't stop. Like there's so much coming through, right? So you do it because it expands you, it excites you, it like you can't rest. You've just got so much going on in your head. You want to get it out there. So that's what it feels to be doing work, to be producing, to be creating out of alignment. The ninth thing that happens when you are in alignment is you start to mind your own business. You start to not care about what people are doing, how much better they're doing than you, how far they are ahead of you, how much faster they're growing than you, or how well you are doing like in compared to other people. Like there's no such thing as like a hierarchy anymore. You're not putting people on pedestal. You're not putting yourself on pedestal. You're not putting yourself below others. You're not putting other people below others. You just don't feel the need or the drive to compare yourselves to others anymore. Like there's none of that. There's none of that behavior. You don't have to convince yourself to not compare yourself. You don't feel competitive, like aggressively competitive to others. You know, it's like that feeling of like, oh, you've got more than me, or that bad feeling, that icky feeling where it's like, oh, like that person's doing better than me, or like that feeling of envy or jealousy. And instead, you feel fulfilled just by staying in your own lane, by walking in your own lane. You feel fulfilled by fulfilling yourself. And at the same time, you feel fulfilled watching other people succeed. This is the best feeling. It's just knowing that I'm walking my own lane, you're walking your own lane. Good on me. Congratulations for you. Good on all of us, right? So that's what happens. You start to mind your own business, and what happens in the external world does not like bother you. You don't feel like you ever have to compete with others anymore. You just do your best. So the 10th and final thing that screams you are in alignment is like you just feel so at peace with yourself. You feel like you don't need to spend your time worrying about the future or reminiscing about the past or feeling bad about the past. Like you don't waste your energy in either of these two places. You're just connected to the present moment. You're connected to noticing what's happening in your energy, what's happening in your field, what's happening in your awareness right now. You're noticing things, you're picking up things that's happening in this moment. And just like being aware of how you feel from one moment to another as the moment carries to another. And the best thing about this feeling is like, because you feel so connected to this moment, you don't have to be anywhere else. You don't have to tell yourself to stop thinking about this or stop obsessing about that or feel guilty about thinking about this. And instead, it's just like, what is right here right now is what here right now. And I don't have to feel bad about what's here right now. It just is, you know, it's just happening. And I know like whatever, if I'm feeling something bad, it's not permanent. And if I am feeling good, I can feel even better. And so it's just this feeling of like, I am so aware of what is happening right now, how I'm feeling. And this awareness is going to really enrich your reality the way that you want it to be. And also you have this knowing that even though you don't have all the answers, you know that everything is going to be okay. It's just this like feeling you have inside of you. So these are the 10 signs, the 10 glaring signs that you cannot ignore, that says and screams you are in alignment. And if you are seeing any one or a few of these signs, it is a sign that, oh my gosh, your alignment is happening. You are becoming aligned to the highest version of yourself. You are being guided by that version of yourself, and just keep walking, appreciate this feeling. And I hope that this gives you the evidence of you like being on the right path, and gives you the encouragement to keep deepening in this feeling of alignment. So that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you loved it, also tell me in the comments like which signs of alignment is happening for you in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a massive like button, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I will see you in the next video.